All right, here we go. Woo! What's up, everybody? I'm Norb.
And I'm Mike.
And we are the
Parking Lot Movie Guys. Well, we came back to the Factoria Cinemas today.
And the movie is The Maze Runner Death Cure.
Starring Dylan O'Brien, Ki-Hong Lee, Kaya Scodelario, Thomas Brody Sangster, and Dexter Darden.
In this third installment of the Maze Runner series, our hero Thomas embarks on a mission to find a cure for the deadly disease known as the flare. So Mike, what'd you think of this movie?
I've seen a lot of action movies and a lot of action scenes, and so many times I feel like I just get lulled to sleep. And this movie started out with an action scene that actually kept me wide awake. It was really good. I remember thinking, I'm really into this. This is fun. The shots were really cool. I was engaged, and I immediately was just surprised at that. I'm just not used to that. So right away I was thinking, all right, it's good. We're off and rolling.
I agree. I went into it having sort of moderate expectations. I thought I would just see your run-of-the-mill, okay, there's this scene and there's this, that scene. But that opening sequence, I was like, Mike, this is pretty good. They're doing some cool stuff here that I haven't really seen before. It's very clever, well shot, well thought out. It set me off in a good tone. I was like, this might be better than I expected.
It wasn't predictable, even how it ended. Then as we got into the rest of the movie, the action sequences were a little more run-of-the-mill, but there were still great surprise moments where you're like, oh, that was cool.
There's been so many action movies in the last 3 decades. It's rare to be surprised at an action movie these days, and I was surprised that there were so many little moments that made me kind of stop and go, this movie's a little bit above than the usual average cut of an action movie.
I mean, how many car flips have we seen in our lifetime?
Gunplay, explosions, you have the typical elements, but they just did a great job of keeping the sequence of it and the editing of it pretty fresh.
You know, there's a lot of visual effects going on during those action moments, and I was very happy with the visual effects as well. Never had any bad green screen moments or bad CG. There was a lot going on.
And anytime there's a world where, you know, it's kind of post-apocalyptic, you know everything you're looking at is not real. So you kind of take for granted when you look at a cityscape, this is not a real place. But as long as it doesn't bother you to where it's like, oh gosh, this is so fake looking that you get taken out of the moment. Never had any moments like that. So they did a pretty good production design. They created the world properly and put us in there the way that you'd want to, so you can just fit into it and not be distracted by it. I thought they did a good job with the characters. Anytime you have an ensemble cast with actors you really don't know, there's always that risk you kind of go, okay, we really don't care about this person or that. But they made it to where there was a very singular mission. And they didn't try to get too complicated. It was very clear, these characters are on a mission to do this. And when you can make it simple like that, it makes it easy to just go, okay, let's make this happen. And that's kind of what the movie was all about, a very specific focus. They created some character bonds. It never got to a point of being emotional, but you still felt like the chemistry and the friendship and the bonds that they created was there. I like these guys. I want them to make it. That was a positive in an action movie where that can be very easily lost.
I still think there were a lot of cliche moments.
Oh, I'm getting to that.
One critique I would have. It was a little long, and I even knew it was long going into it. I checked the length, it's 2 hours, 24 minutes. And I would say the last hour, I found myself at times thinking, I wish they could just speed this up a little bit. It just drug out, I'd say just a little too much in places, but it was still really good, and I was thoroughly entertained to the end.
I really liked the first 2/3, and as in any action movie, there's always that wonder, how are they gonna wrap up the third act? And that's often where the movie can shine and sometimes trip and completely destroy itself. It never went to that level, but there was definitely the action cliche finales in this. So I was telling Mike, hey, guess what? This is where this happens. And it was like, oh, there it is. Guess what? Here's where this happens. And sure enough, but you know, it didn't ruin it, even though I knew these things were coming. I had been satisfied enough with the ride that it didn't bother me that there was a little bit of cliche at the end. I don't think you can help it in some movies because it's an action movie.
There was an exceptional amount of lines that were taking me back to lines from other movies. I'd say even a little bit more in this movie than I'm used to. I've heard that before.
Well, not just lines, there were blatant shots where I'm going, this is the shot from something coming up, and sure enough, it was like on cue, there it is, homage to this movie. Maybe that was on purpose, maybe it wasn't, but then again, what have we not seen in an action movie? We've seen it all, so it's hard to have something completely original that you haven't seen because we've been on every place on Earth, every place in the universe, so it's kind of hard to come up with a completely unique action finale. So,
and I guarantee you, a younger audience is not going to notice any of those things we did.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's time for our 5-finger review?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go on 3.
1, 2. Yeah,
We
in
are
sync again.
We are in sync. I had a feeling we'd both be 4s on this one. This movie was a solid 4 for me. I was entertained. It had great surprises with the action. A few little nitpicks, but nothing to make me think, disappointed. So very, very happy to give this movie a 4. Highly recommend you seeing it. If you do though, you should really see the first 2 movies first.
It was a fun ride, unpredictable at times, a few cliches at the end, but I could live with those. Fun, engaging, and the whole time I kept thinking, man, I can't wait to take my kids to this. They're gonna love this movie. And it's hard to find that sometimes, especially in an action movie. I was expecting to come in here maybe seeing a 3.5 movie, and on the low side a 3. To get a 4, it definitely exceeded my expectations. So yes, go out and watch this movie.
Highly recommended. So for our bonus extra, this movie is based on the Maze Runner series, which, as you know, has the word maze in it. And so it made me think about, well, what other maze movies are meaningful to me? And of course, nothing holds a candle to what to me is the ultimate maze movie. And with that, I wore my special t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not gonna say the name. This is all just clues. Who is that guy? Who is that girl right there? You might have to do a little bit of research. But this movie, to me, is the ultimate maze movie. And I will leave it at that. See if you can figure it out and post in the comments.
Your younger kids, you have to probably do some Googling.
And I will say, both of the theater employees immediately looked at me and said, I love that shirt!
That's true. And they were a little bit older, so not surprised. Please make sure to subscribe to us, to our channel, The Parking Lot Movie Guys. Share it, comment. We'd love to hear what you'd like to see in our next review. But until next time, I'm Norb.
And I'm Mike.
And we are
The Parking Lot Movie Guys.